They're shooting. I just keep my foot on the gas. If those cars catch us, our bodies will be chalk outlines before sunrise. And the crazy part? It all started over one car I was never supposed to touch. You're watching Tales from the Block. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you ain't a movie. It's my life. And it costs more than any of us were ready to pay. But before the bullets, before the engines screaming and the sirens turning the whole block into a war zone, there was just a plan. A simple one. At least, that's what we thought. And me? I'm Kane Foster, but everybody from West Side Piru calls me Redline. Because when I drive, gauges don't matter, limits don't exist, and fear don't mean a thing. I've boosted more cars than I've ever shaken hands with. My world ain't trust and love. It's horsepower and exit routes. And that night, the night everything went to hell, I woke up to the same sounds that raised me. Sirens moving like ghosts down Compton Avenue, a helicopter humming somewhere over Rosecrans, and the distant echo of gunshots like a heartbeat in this part of the city. South Central never sleeps. It reloads. I ain't been out the set more than a few weeks since I was 16. You grow up here, and it gets inside your blood, same way we were the color red. Maybe it stains you forever. Maybe it becomes the only language you know. That night, Tone hit my phone. Tone buckshot Mercer, skin like obsidian, dreadlocks tied back behind a red bandana, wearing that cocky grin that always means trouble. Angry eyes, tech, 9 in his hand like it was glued there. He never walks, he prowls. Redline, he said, low and urgent, we got a lick tonight. Big move. Paper move. I almost hung up. Tone's paper moves end with cops or funerals. But money talks loud, and I've been running dry. Gas costs, safe houses, new plates, it all adds up. What's the target? I asked, rubbing my eyes. A boosted ride, Tone said. And not just any ride. Challenger. Hellcat. Candy red, wide body. Fresh shipment out the ports. We hit it before sunrise. We gone before anybody know it's missing. He didn't have to say more. I felt that engine before I ever heard it. I knew what it could do. I also knew poor jobs are federal heat, not local. Mess with the docks. You're on cameras you don't even know exist. You get alphabet agencies. DA, ATF, Homeland. All of them love stacking bodies and calling it justice. But Tone wasn't finished. Brick riding with us, he said. I closed my eyes. Brick Wallace didn't get his name from nowhere. Man's built like a wall you crash into at 90 miles per hour and still don't move him. Broad shoulders under a red hoodie, arms carrying that sawed-off shotgun like it weighed nothing. Beard thick, eyes quiet but always calculating. When Brick pulls up, something serious is happening. And Crown, Tone added. Lil Crown, youngest in the set. Red cap sideways, baby face that life ain't had time to carve up yet. He runs product for our side of Rosecrans, mostly stash and deliver work. Hands always shaking, but he's loyal. That boy worships the set like a religion. His backpack usually has either dreams or death inside, depending on the day. 3 hitters and me behind the wheel. That's a war team, not a boost job. What's really in that car, Tone? I asked. Silence. Then, enough weight to put us on the map. Weight. Product. Not just a car. This was cartel-level cargo. I should have said no. I should have thrown my phone out the window, walked outside, looked at the sky, and begged God to keep me stupid instead of brave. But survival makes you choose dumb things with confidence. I'm in, I told him. We met in an alley behind Grape Street. Brick walls covered in red tags and RIP murals. The smell of gasoline, smoke, and hot garbage was thick enough to chew. Tone passed me a burner phone. Use this one. Toss it when we done. Brick said nothing. He just nodded, loading a shell into the sawed-off with that slow, calm motion that's scarier than a scream. Lil Crown looked like he was about to puke. Y'all sure the port ain't gonna be swarming tonight? It's always swarming, I told him, sliding gloves over my hands. Question is whether they swarming us. Tone grinned wide. They ain't ready for us. Bad omen. Anytime Tone says somebody ain't ready, we're the ones who ain't ready. We took a stolen Tahoe down Wilmington Avenue, headlights off, windows cracked just enough to smell the ocean. Fog hung low, mixing with the shipyard lights, turning everything into a ghost story. And there it was, a row of imported cars lined behind a chain fence. Fresh bodies, untouched engines. But the one in the center? Candy red Dodge Challenger Hellcat widebody, black rims, hood scoop like a monster ready to swallow the night. I swear, I felt my pulse sink with that engine, and it wasn't even running yet. Tone cut the fence. Brick and Crown pushed through. I popped the ignition in under 30 seconds. I've cracked more Challengers than safes. Engine roared awake, quiet as a storm catching its breath. "What's in the trunk?" I asked. Tone didn't say a word. He opened it. Bricks of white powder, wrapped tight, stacked deep. Not gang level, not neighborhood level. This was international. My stomach dropped. "Tone, whose product is this?" But before he could answer, spotlights snapped on. Loudspeakers barked. On the ground, hands where we can see them. Customs, port security, maybe feds. Tone yelled, "Drive." Brick fired first. Crown screamed. I slammed the accelerator like my soul was kicking through it. Chain fence tore open as we burst through it, tires spitting sparks. Gunshots followed like thunder chasing lightning. And that's where the night really started. We hit the streets with pursuit lights already behind us. Sirens multiplied. Engines closed in. Through the mirror, I saw 2 Port Patrol SUVs and a black unmarked sedan I didn't like the look of. "Left on Sepulveda," Tone shouted. "No," I told him, cutting right instead. "They expect left. We go peace each." Crown clutched his backpack like a life vest. "They're gonna kill us if we get caught, man. That ain't local product." Tone looked back, eyes blazing. "We ain't getting caught." Brick chambered another shell. "Who owns it, Tone?" "That don't matter right now." Which meant he knew. It mattered. I weaved through lanes, Hellcat engine roaring like something alive. We passed groups on street corners, some wearing blue. Crips territory, and we were a bright red bullet in the dark. Suicide. They noticed us. Phones came up. Someone whistled. Someone else yelled, "Pyru slipping." Headlights flicked on behind us. A Chevy SS and 2 Chargers. Blue rags. They weren't tagging along for fun. They joining the chase? Crown asked, voice cracking. "No," I said. "They hunting." Now we had feds and Crips behind us. "All this for a car?" I hissed. Tone finally broke. "It ain't the car. It's the shipment. Colombian Connect. We weren't supposed to know it was coming through the port tonight. But I got a call." "You got a call from who?" Brick demanded. Tone's jaw tensed. "Somebody who wants the set back on top." Brick stared, eyes turning darker. "Or somebody who want to bury us." Silence inside the car except for the wind and the engine and the dying echo of sirens somewhere behind. Then Crown whispered, "We got a tail incoming from the right." I looked. Unmarked Dodge Charger. Tinted windows. Moving too smooth to be street. Too quiet to be scared. "Federal?" Crown asked. "Either Fed," I said, "or somebody worse." I floored it. We cut toward Watts, past a liquor store with bars on the windows and a broken red neon sign that flickered like it was gasping. A group outside watched us and ducked when the gunfire started again. Bullets hit the rear quarter panel. Brick leaned out and answered with a shotgun. Street lights shattered in a rain of sparks. Crown was shaking so bad his gun rattled against his backpack. "You good?" I asked him. "No," he said. "I ain't good. I'm 19. I ain't trying to die over a car, bro." "It's not a car," Tone snapped. "It's a future." "Whose future?" Crown yelled. "Ours or yours?" Tone didn't answer, and that silence said everything. The Crips gained on us near 97th Street, blue flags waving out the window. They weren't scared to tag us in front of the cops. Some wars never sleep. Brick fired again. Crown fired wild shots through his window, eyes squeezed shut. Tone laughed. Actually laughed, like chaos made him feel alive. I hit a hard turn into an alley between 2 apartment buildings. Trash cans flew. A fence tore. Someone screamed from a balcony above us. The Crip cars overshot the turn, screeching as they looped back for another run. "That ain't gonna buy us more than 10 seconds, I said. 10 seconds is a lifetime if you use it right, Brick replied. We needed a safe spot, a garage, a stash house, something. I knew the map of South Central like blood vessels in my own body. Only way we make it through the night, I said, is we get to Carver Lane. My old spot. Stale door. No windows. Ride stays cool there till heat dies. We need to cut through Florence, Tone said. I shook my head. Florence is crawling with patrol. We go Imperial. Crown exhaled hard. Imperial? That's like driving through a war. Tone stared forward. This is a war. Even with all that danger, even with death breathing down the exhaust pipe, I felt that connection with the car. My hands weren't just steering, they were thinking. Every turn a heartbeat, every shift a prayer. Some people find God in church. I find him in engines. And then the helicopter came. Spotlight hit us like the sun fell out of the sky. Sirens converged. A voice boomed through loudspeakers. Pull the vehicle over now. Brick muttered, "We ain't seen morning, do we?" "We will," I said, "but I need you all calm. No more firing unless they box us." Tone stared at me. "Since when you calling shots? Since I'm the only reason we ain't dead yet." He didn't argue. We hit Imperial Highway doing 120. The city blurred into streaks of red, blue, and desperation. Crown was crying now, silent tears cooling on his cheeks. "You ever think about leaving?" he asked quietly. "Leaving the set, the colors, the streets? Just disappearing?" I answered truthfully, "Every damn day." Then I swerve around a semi-truck, so hard the Hellcat's tires screamed like something alive. When the gunfire started again, it wasn't Crips. It was the unmarked Charger, the one moving too clean. Tone looked back and froze. "Oh, hell no. I know that car." Brick's voice dropped. "Ooh." Tone swallowed, grin gone now. Sinaloa, the cartel. The product wasn't just valuable. It belonged to killers with governments in their pockets. And then I realized something. We were never supposed to make it out of that port alive. Someone sent us into a death trap, and we walked right in. The Charger pulled alongside. Window rolled down. I saw a man with a beard, gold watch, calm eyes. Not street eyes. Predator eyes. He raised an Uzi. Crown screamed. I threw the wheel left. Bullets tore the passenger side mirror off. Brick fired point blank into their door. They fell back, smoke but not done. We were running on borrowed time, borrowed luck, borrowed product. And luck runs out fast in Compton. "You said somebody called you about this shipment." I told Tone, voice cold. "Yeah." "Who?" Tone finally answered. "A girl." Brick cursed. "We dead." I asked him, "What's her name?" Tone hesitated. Then, "Camila." Crown shook his head. "Camila? The one linked with." He didn't finish because we all knew. Cartel. Tone set us up without knowing. Or maybe knowing and not caring. I felt a whole crack open in my stomach. But I didn't have time to fall through it. Because up ahead, blocking the road, were two LAPD cruisers and spike strips. And that's when I realized something worse. They weren't trying to arrest us. They were hemming us in, cornering us, so someone else could finish the job. I didn't slow down. Crown yelled, "Red line spikes." Brick braced. Tone screamed, "Go through." I clenched my teeth, whispered a prayer to a god I barely believed in, and slammed my foot down. The Hellcat roared like a devil unchained. We hit the spike strip. Tires burst. Car dipped, fishtailing into chaos. Sirens howled. Crips closed from behind. Federal sedan flanked left. Cartel Charger flanked right. No exits. No way out. And that's when Tone said the words that changed everything. We ditched the car. We go on foot. I looked back at him like he'd lost his mind. But maybe we all had. Because 10 seconds later, with tires shredding, engine dying, and death surrounding us on every side, I made the choice. I killed the lights, dropped the gear, popped the doors, and shouted, "Run!" And that's where I'm ending this act. Because what happened after we left that Hellcat rolling through the dark changed everything. For me, for the set, for South Central, and someone wasn't making it out alive. I didn't remember hitting the ground, only the sound of my pulse hammering in my ears and the taste of asphalt dust in my mouth. Sirens roared somewhere behind us, scattered, multiplying, bouncing off the walls of Imperial Highway like wolves in a steel canyon. Tone grabbed my arm and yanked me to my feet before I could even pull breath back into my lungs. "Move, red line," he hissed, voice cracking from adrenaline. "Ain't nobody coming to save us." Brick was limping, one hand pressed to his thigh where metal had kissed him. Maybe a ricochet, maybe shrapnel. Crown kept looking back, over his shoulder like the darkness had teeth. And maybe it did. We ran, not straight. That would have been too easy for the ones hunting us. Instead, Tone led us across a scrapyard and through a break in the fence, past rusted car skeletons that still whispered the colors of 1,000 stories. Chrome dreams, impounded hopes, getaway vehicles that didn't get far enough. Somewhere behind them, our Hellcat bled gasoline into the gutter, a dying beast that refused to roar again. "We should have never trusted Camila," Brick muttered, voice shaking with more than pain. Tone shot him a look. "We don't know it was her. We don't know it wasn't." I kept running. I didn't want to think about Camila. Her voice, soft like velvet over glass, saying she had information about a drop the Crips were holding, a re-up shipment so heavy that the Sinaloa cartel had sent its own eyes to watch it. It was supposed to be a quick hit. In and out, no alarms, no bodies, no noise. Nothing in this world goes quiet forever. We reached a drainage ditch and slid down, landing in shallow water that smelled like rust and motor oil. Sirens were still close, but more distant now, as if the city itself had swallowed us. Tone crouched, trying to catch his breath. We lay low until it cools. Then we figure who set us up. Brick's jaw clenched. Crown kept pacing. I didn't say a word, because I knew something nobody else did. Back at the drop, when the shootout started, no, not shootout, just flashes, silhouettes, shouts, the suggestion of weapons raised and lowered. I saw someone in the distance. Briefly, a familiar shape. A man I once called brother. A man wearing the wrong color now. And it wasn't Camila, but I wasn't ready to say that. Not yet. Through the tunnels, I whispered, "We can lose everybody in the tunnels." Tone stared at me. "You sure you remember the path? Last time you nearly got us lost under Florence. That was years ago, and your memory ain't exactly improved." He wasn't wrong. The streets had changed. I had changed, but something inside me pulled toward the dark like I had a map carved into the marrow of my bones. Crown finally stopped pacing. "Let's move. I feel eyes everywhere. Homie. This is heat. You don't survive standing still." We slipped into the drainage tunnel, crouched low, flashlights off, letting the weak glow from the street grates guide us deeper. The sound of water trickling around our shoes felt like a countdown. "You hear that?" Brick whispered. Tone lifted a fist. "Stop." We listened. Nothing at first. Then, splashes behind us. Slow. Too slow to be LAPD. Too confident to be lost. Crown exhaled. "Cartel." The word tasted like steel. Tone signaled silently. "Keep moving." We reached an old maintenance ladder and climbed. A rusted hatch resisted us, then relented with a groan that sounded loud enough to wake the dead. We emerged in the back lot of an old laundromat on Compton Avenue. I knew the place, Blood's Friendly, where it used to be. A set ran product out the back until a feud left 3 bodies in dryers and nobody washed clothes here anymore. Tone checked the street. "Clear for now. We head to the safe house on Main," Brick said. "No." I surprised myself with my own voice. "They know our spots. If we go somewhere expected, we're done." Tone nodded reluctantly. "Red line's right. We go ghost. Off-grid." Crown frowned. "Off-grid where?" "This ain't wilderness. Everything down here got eyes." Brick looked straight at me. "Then we go somewhere only Red Line knows." They were testing me, or trusting me. Hard to tell which was more dangerous. I picked a direction. South. The heart of Blood territory, where every mural and tag brick carried memory. We passed streets where names were spoken like Myth, Rosecrans, Wilmington, 135th. Sirens faded behind us, replaced by the city's other heartbeat. Music, arguments, laughter trying to outrun sorrow. We reached a narrow alley between a liquor store and a boarded-up boxing gym. Crown froze. "The gym still hot?" he asked. Tone answered. "Ain't been used since Smoke got locked up." Which was true, and not true, because Smoke wasn't locked up. Smoke was dead, and none of us liked to talk about it. I pushed the door open. It wasn't locked, not really. Locking anything in this neighborhood just meant someone would break it louder. Inside, the air smelled like sweat trapped between memories. Heavy bags still hung from chains, swaying as if ghosts were training for fights they couldn't let go of. Brick collapsed onto a bench, pressing his leg. Tone knelt beside him. "Hold still." I found an old first aid box, half empty, rusted but usable. Tone started patching Brick up, slow and careful. Tone always had steady hands. Before the streets, before the sets, before any of us learned what power cost, he wanted to be a paramedic. Funny how dreams rot. Crown paced again. So what now? We hit back. Lay low. Skip town. I finally spoke. We find who sold us out. Tone didn't look up. You think it was Camila? Brick winced. It was her. She knew the drop. She the only one outside the set Red Line talks to. Tone's eyes flicked up. Is that true? The room held its breath. And maybe I should have lied. Maybe I should have said I barely knew her. That she was just some voice floating in smoke and neon. But the truth pressed its weight on my chest. She told me about the shipment. I admitted. Said it was lightly guarded. Said it was a score we needed. Tone stood. And you didn't think that was suspicious? I did, I said. But I wanted it to be real. Brick scoffed. Wanted a payday. So bad you got us hunted by the whole city. I stepped forward, pulse climbing. You think I walked us into that on purpose? If the shoe fits, Brick said. Crown put a hand on my chest, holding me back. Ain't the time for this. Tone nodded. We ain't pointing fingers yet. Nobody moves stupid. Not tonight. Brick leaned back, breathing heavy. We sat in silence for a long moment. Then Tone spoke again, lower this time. There's something else. Crown frowned. What? Tone reached into his jacket and pulled out a black cell phone. Not his. New. Clean. This was planted in the Hellcat, he said. Under the driver's seat. My stomach dropped. A tracker. Not amateur work. Not random. Cartel tech. Brick cursed under his breath. Crown stared at me. Not accusing. Not yet, but dangerous in his stillness. You sure you want to keep saying Camila, only one who knew? I closed my eyes for half a second. Just long enough to see that silhouette again. That familiar shape. That wrong color. Blue. But I still wasn't ready to say it. Tone sat down across from me. Look me in the eye, Red Line. You hiding something else? I forced breath back into my lungs. There's someone who has a reason to see me dead, I said. Someone who used to wear red. Someone who don't anymore. Brick blinked. Who? Silence took shape, heavy as concrete. I spoke the name. Ghost. Tone went pale. Crown stopped pacing. Brick actually forgot to breathe. Because everyone in that room knew what it meant. Ghost wasn't a story. He was a storm. He vanished 2 years ago after a job went sideways. Everyone thought he flipped to federal. Others said the Crips converted him. Some swore the cartel took his loyalty. But if he was back, if he had marked us, Brick spat the word out like it burned. We dead. Tone finally moved. Not yet. Crown's voice trembled. Man betrayed the whole set. He ain't even human no more. I stood. We find him. No, Tone said. If we go chasing Ghost, he already won. I shook my head. We don't chase him. We predict him. How you plan to do that? Brick demanded. I looked at the old boxing ring. Smoke taught us there. Ghost trained there. I bled on that canvas once, and I swore I would never bleed for nothing again. He's not finished, I said. If Ghost is back, he's working angles. He wants territory, leverage, product, fear. He wants to make a point. Tone nodded slowly. So we make one first. Brick grinned despite the pain. Crown stopped shaking. We were doing it. Walking into the lion's mouth. But we'd been lions once too. Tone stood. First, we get clean wheels. Then we tap in with Big Mello. He still runs the Rosecrans stash house. He'll know if Crip's been moving strange. And Camila? Crown asked. We find her too, Tone said. Alive. The word hung there, because it meant a choice later. Crown cracked his neck. Then what we waiting for? We left the gym and moved deeper into the veins of the neighborhood. Dogs barked behind fences. Distant engines revved. Helicopters traced circles in the sky like hungry birds. Thing about South Central is you never really disappear. You just hope the shadows choose you over someone else. We reached a row of garages that looked abandoned. They weren't. Tone knocked twice, then 3 times, then twice again. A bolt slid back. Door opened. A heavy-set man with gold teeth and eyes like midnight stared at us. Big Mello. Tone spoke first. We need wheels and answers. Mello studied us. Whole hood heard what went down on Imperial. Y'all stirred hornets. We looking for Ghost, I said. The garage went silent. Mello nodded once, slow. Then you better come inside. We did, because there was no turning back now. Not from Ghost. Not from Camila. Not from the cartel. Not from the truth. Whatever it really was. Big Mello's garage always smelled like gasoline, steel, and secrets. Engines slept under tarps like buried animals. And the light was a sickly yellow that made everyone look a little more dangerous than they were, or maybe exactly as dangerous as the world had made them. Mello slid the metal door shut, locking us inside with the quiet throb of an idling generator. The room hummed like a war drum. Tone stepped forward. "We need wheels." "You need coffins," Mello muttered, wiping his hands on a rag. "Whole damn South Central saying Ghost is back." Brick stiffened. Crown crossed his arms, trying to hide the tremor in his fingers, but failing. Mello looked straight at me. "And they say he came for you first," Redline. The words hit harder than I expected. Tone didn't blink. "You seen him?" Mello shook his head. "No, but I seen movement. New colors on corners that don't make sense. Crips pushing weight that ain't theirs. Cartel faces I ain't never seen before asking about blood politics like they studying for a test." Brick snorted. "Whole city losing its mind." "No," Mello said. "Whole city is being reshaped." He took a breath and lowered his voice. 6 nights ago, someone hit a stash house near Wilmington. Nobody saw who. Only thing left was red paint on the wall. Crown frowned. "Tagging." Mello nodded. "Just a single word, written in dripping strokes. Rebirth." I felt the floor tilt under me. Tone spoke slowly. "Ghost always loved that word." Mello stared at me again, like I was the missing chapter to a book he was tired of reading. "You ready to tell the rest of them?" he asked. Silence. Brick looked at me, then Tone. Crown stood still as a boarded window. Tone's voice was quiet. "Tell us what, Redline?" I swallowed, throat dry as desert bone. "I saw him," I finally said. "At the drop. Just for a moment. Blue hoodie. Crip colors." He looked right at me. Brick cursed and kicked a toolbox. Wrenches rattled like bones. Crown stared at me with something close to fear. "Why are you just now saying this?" "Because I wasn't sure if my mind was playing tricks," I answered. Mello chuckled darkly. "In this city, trick minds get buried same as real enemies." Tone rubbed his jaw, thinking, calculating. He always carried the set on his back like a weight no normal spine could hold. Then he said, "We need confirmation. We find Camila." Brick grinned, but there was nothing warm in it. "She better pray she innocent." Crown's voice sharpened, like he was cutting himself on the thought. "And if she ain't?" Tone didn't hesitate. "Then she a loose wire." I didn't say anything, because I still remembered her laugh. Her eyes, the way she said my name like it was something I hadn't earned yet. Mello snapped his fingers, breaking the silence. "I got something you need." He walked to a locked cabinet, pulled out a tablet, and turned the screen to us. A paused image. Grainy. Security cam footage. A parking lot. Night. Figures moving fast. Mello hit play. A woman sprinted toward a black SUV. Cartel plates. Camila. Then another figure stepped into the frame. Hood up. Shoulders forward. Moving like a memory sharpened into a blade. "Ghost." They spoke. Brief. "Urgent." Then the video cut. Brick whispered, "Well, damn." Crown closed his eyes, exhaling slow. She really sold us out. Tone didn't look away from the screen. "What's the address?" Mello tapped the corner. A location appeared. A warehouse near the river. Tone turned to me. "You drive." I nodded before my heart caught up. Mello lifted a tarp off a matte black SUV with bulletproof panels and enough engine muscle to outrun more than cops. "Bring it back," he said, "or don't come back at all." We rode in silence for the first 10 minutes, the city sliding past like a wounded animal. Brick cleaned his gun. Crown watched the sidewalks as if Ghost might materialize out of shadow. Tone kept checking the mirror. "Redline," he finally said. "If we see Camila, you ready?" I kept my eyes on the road. "I don't know." Brick scoffed. "Then let me do the talking." Crown shook his head. "Talking? Ain't nobody talking tonight." Tone didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. "We get answers. That's it." Brick leaned back, unconvinced. I turned left toward the river. Factories hunched over the road, their windows lit by dying sodium lamps. Barges sat still as sleeping giants. Tone pointed. "Warehouse 63. We parked behind a row of rusted containers. Brick and Crown flanked. Tone walked beside me, silent, but I could feel the questions burning in him. We reached the side door. Voices inside. One of them, Camila's. "He won't let it go," she was saying. "Ghost, you don't know him like I do. He's not the same person." Ghost answered, voice filtered by walls, low and soft like velvet hiding razors. "Good. Neither am I." Brick mouthed now. Tone nodded. We kicked the door open. Weapons drawn. Camila spun, eyes wide. Ghost didn't move. He just stared at me, hood still shadowing his face. "Red line," he said like a greeting and a funeral prayer in one. My voice felt borrowed. "What?" Ghost tilted his head. "Because you left me." My pulse slammed inside my chest. Tone stepped forward. "You flipped to the enemy." Ghost laughed quietly. "There are no sides. Not anymore. The cartel buys both flags now. Red and blue bleed the same if the money's right." Crown shivered. Brick raised his weapon. But Ghost looked only at me. "You could have come with me," he said. "You still can." Camila touched his arm. And then I saw it. How her fingers trembled. How she wasn't standing with him. She was standing near him, but afraid. Tone noticed too. "Camila," he said, voice steady. "Did you give us up?" Tears welled. "I didn't want to. They had my brother. They said they'd." Ghost silenced her with a glance. She flinched. Brick muttered, "Man got her on a leash." Ghost didn't turn. "I gave her protection. You gave her promises." Anger burned low in my ribs. "You used her." Ghost stepped closer. "And you didn't?" I froze. Tone looked at me. Crown looked at the floor. Brick's jaw tightened. Camila sobbed. "I tried to warn you, Redline. I left a message. They intercepted it." I believed her. I hated that I believed her. Ghost sighed, disappointment heavy in it. "This conversation is over." He signaled someone. A door in the back opened. Cartel gunman entered. Tone didn't hesitate. "Move!" We dove behind crates as shouts exploded. Shadows twisted. Muzzle flashes lit the dark like lightning caught in cages. I covered Camila as wood splintered behind us. Brick returned fire. Crown pulled a fallen weapon from the ground and held his position. Tone kept us coordinated, sharp, controlled. Ghost slipped out a back exit. Running. I chased him. Through the door, across the loading yard, boots pounding pavement. "Ghost!" I shouted. He didn't turn. I caught him near the fence. Tackled him to the concrete. We rolled, fist striking, old brothers killing pieces of each other. His voice was breathless, but calm. "You still don't see it, Redline." I slammed him back. "See what?" "That the streets ain't broken," Ghost whispered. "They're evolving." Sirens approached in the distance. Tone yelled for me. I didn't get a choice anymore. Ghost twisted, broke my grip, and ran into the night, disappearing like a wound closing in the dark. I didn't follow. Because Camila was hurt. Because Crown was bleeding. Because Brick was shouting for help. Because Tone needed me more than revenge did. I ran back inside. Tone dragged Crown toward the exit. Blood spreading, but not fatal. Brick guarded our retreat. Camila clung to my jacket, shaking. We reached the SUV and got out before reinforcements arrived. Tires roared against concrete, carrying us back into the maze of a city that birthed us. Crown gritted his teeth. "We ain't ready for him." Tone nodded. "Not yet." Brick closed his eyes. "Then we get ready." Camila squeezed my hand without looking at me. "I am sorry." I didn't answer, because I wasn't sure who I was mourning more, the brother I lost, or the man I was before losing him. South Central feels different when it's about to bleed. Usually the night has a rhythm. Sirens, dogs, engines, arguments, helicopters, and a silence in between that only the locals understand. But that night, the air was too still. Streetlights flickered like they were scared to stay on. Even graffiti seemed to breathe. Crown lay stretched across Mello's old couch, wrapped in bandages, drifting in and out. Brick patrolled the windows with a shotgun across his chest. Tone sat at the metal work table, staring at a broken spark plug like it was a map to a better world. Camila stood near the door, arms wrapped around herself. I didn't know if she felt cold or guilt. I should have been thinking about Ghost, about the cartel, about the Crips lining up under a new flag of money instead of color. Instead, I was staring at Camila's hands. "You tired of hating me yet?" she asked softly. "No," I said, "but I'm tired of wanting to." Tone didn't look up. We moved before sunrise. Brick glanced over. We don't even know where they at. Tone finally lifted his eyes. We will. He slid a phone across the table. Burnt. Cracked. Cartel encryption markings on the sticker inside the case. I frowned. Where you get that? Off on the one's Crown dropped, Tone said. Crown, half-conscious, smirked weakly. I keep receipts. Tone connected the phone to Mello's laptop. Lines of code flickered like static from another planet. Mello leaned over us. If this thing got a tracker on it, LAPD gonna kick this door in fast. It doesn't, Tone said. Cartel runs on internal servers. Whoever controls their Los Angeles pipeline hides near the ports. They treat the city like a ship they ain't done unloading. I watched names and numbers appear. Routes, drop zones, coded shipments, territories. Then I saw an address. My stomach dropped. Brick read it aloud. Rosecrans and Wilmington. Camila's breath caught. I knew why. That corner belonged to OG Zane, a legend in our set. A man whose voice could move alliances. A man whose word ended wars before they started. And if Ghost had him, Tone stood. We go now. Mello widened his eyes. That's suicide. Tone's tone didn't shift. So, is waiting. Brick grabbed his coat. I'm always down. Crown tried to sit up. I can roll. I shook my head. You're staying. You push yourself now, you die. And you ain't dying for this city tonight. Crown clenched his jaw, but he didn't argue. Camila looked at me. Let me help. Brick scoffed. Haven't you done enough? I stepped between them. She comes. Tone nodded once. Decision locked. Mello pulled the tarp off another vehicle. A deep red, reinforced 1987 Buick Grand National, engine purring under the hood like a tiger that heard gunshots and came running. Don't bring her back broken, Mello said. I won't, I promised. He didn't smile. I meant the car. The streets were watching us. Graffiti faces looked down from brick walls like old ancestors, choosing who they'd claim by morning. Police cruisers swam slowly through intersections, waiting for a reason. Somewhere, helicopters circled a different tragedy. But the closer we got to Wilmington Avenue, the quieter things felt. Quiet like a blade. Brick tapped the window with his ring. You feel that? Tone nodded. Ghost got eyes here. Camila looked straight ahead. He can't see everything. Tone leaned forward. You sure about that? She didn't answer. We parked 2 blocks away and advanced on foot, splitting angles. Old factories loomed over us, rusted teeth and concrete gums. The corner store lights buzzed. A payphone hung broken, swinging slightly though there was no wind. Then we heard it. A voice. Strained. Angry. Familiar. Will sign? Tone moved first, weapon ready. Brick flanked left. I took Camila with me to the right side of the alley. We saw them. Cartel soldiers circled Zane, tying him to a chair. They treated him like a trophy. A warning. And next to them, giving orders, Ghost. His hood down now. Face clear. Eyes colder than the world we shared. Ghost walked up to Zane, crouched, and spoke to him like a friend. You build a kingdom out of broken boys and asphalt. I'm not here to burn it. I'm here to take the crown you wasted. Zane spat blood. Boy, I taught you to walk these streets. Only thing you taught keen is your last breath. Ghost smiled. Maybe, but I'll come back. Streets always resurrect their favorites. Brick whispered, we don't got numbers for this. I don't need numbers, Tone replied. I need red line. I met his eyes. He meant it. I closed mine and let the city think for me. Every alley, every escape route, every blind spot. My mind drew the map in seconds. I whispered, I got a plan. Brick raised a brow. It better be good. He didn't realize yet it wasn't good. It was desperate. There's a rule in street chases. Whoever controls the first 5 seconds controls the story. I sprinted across the lot, using abandoned crates as cover. Tone and Brick spread fire to pull attention. Cartel soldiers shouted, repositioned. Ghost turned. Our eyes locked. A lifetime passed in one heartbeat. Then I was behind a chair, cutting Zane loose with Brick's backup blade. Can you walk? I asked. Zane's laugh was half cough, half thunder. I ain't done yet. Tone threw a flash charge. We moved through smoke as bullets carved the air. Camila stayed behind cover, feeding directions through a whisper mic she stole from Mello's drawer. I heard her voice in my ear. Left side clear. 2 on the loading dock. Ghost moving east. He's not chasing, he's regrouping. Tone's breath hissed. He's planning a counterattack. Zane leaned on me as we reached a gap in the fence. Brick covered our exit. All out. Then the sound that ends nights. A shotgun blast. Brick took the hit. He dropped to a knee, gasping but still firing. Go, he roared. Tone and I dragged Zane through the fence. Camila ran to cover Brick, screaming for him to move. He tried. He couldn't. Ghost crew advanced. Brick looked at me, or through me, or maybe past me. Red line, he said, voice deep as dirt. Don't lose this city to a ghost. I shook my head. Man, I'm not leaving you. Brick grinned, red teeth showing. I ain't the one being saved. Then he pulled a pin. Tone grabbed my shoulder. Red line. Now. We ran. The blast shook the yard, shattering windows, kicking dust into the sky like the earth itself was coughing blood. Brick Wallace. Pyru until Judgment Day was gone. Camila screamed. Tone lowered his head. Zane muttered a prayer for soldiers. I kept walking, because if I stopped, I would never move again. We got Zane into the Buick. Camila climbed and shaking. Tone shut the door hard enough to crack the frame. No one spoke. Not about Brick. Not yet. Zane was the one who finally broke the quiet. You think this ends with Ghost? That boy ain't running the board. Someone else is playing him. Same way he playing the city. Tone stared into the rear view. Cartel. Zane shook his head. Cartel ain't this patient. Camila wiped her face. Then who? Zane looked at me, voice low as the engine rumble. Somebody with a badge. I nearly stalled the car. Tone's jaw tensed. You saying cops? I'm saying the streets got a new architect, Zane answered. And Ghost is just the blueprint. We drove through Compton in silence. Dawn bleeding into the sky like someone cut open the horizon and didn't finish the job. I didn't know where to go next. But war has its own GPS. And revenge don't need street signs. I always thought the end would come fast, some blur of gunfire under streetlights, sirens eating up the last seconds of my breath. But the real endings, the dangerous ones, they don't rush you. They stalk you slow. They give you time to think, to imagine a way out, to taste the illusion that you might survive all this. The kind of hope that kills a man long before any bullet does. That's where I am now, sitting in the back of a stripped-down Impala in a warehouse off Slauson. The stink of gasoline and gun oil thick as sweat, waiting for a meeting that's either going to save us or bury us. Brick is pacing, his huge frame moving like a caged bull ready to tear through steel. Lil Crown sits on the hood of the car, humming a dead Hamia's hook under his breath, eyes vacant like he's halfway gone already. Tone buckshot. Mercer leans against a steel pillar, arms crossed. He hasn't said a word in 20 minutes, which is the closest thing he gives to a warning. And me? I keep replaying the last 2 weeks in my head like surveillance footage. The alley shootouts, the cartel safe house, the stolen shipment, the bodies. Too many bodies. A whole war kicked awake because we wanted power, respect, and a future we were never built to reach. Brick stops pacing, turns to me. You sure you ready for this, Redline? I nod. Ready enough. He studies me, looking for cracks. He won't find the real ones. They're all on the inside. Tone checks his phone, finally breaking the silence. They're 2 minutes out, he says. Cartel wants their repayment. We do this clean, nobody else dies tonight. Nobody else. Like the streets care about math. Headlights carve through the dark as 3 SUVs roll up to the warehouse. Black tinted, low, heavy suspension. Men step out with rifles angled low, disciplined, not posturing like corner soldiers. Then she steps out. Camila, the girl whose name has been sitting like a blade between my ribs since the first chase. The one who gave the tip that set the whole chain reaction. Curly black hair, leather jacket, boots that echo across concrete. Her eyes lock onto mine like she came here for only one reason. Tone mutters, don't do nothing stupid. Not yet. The cartel rep steps forward. A man in a suit too expensive for this air. You owe us blood, he says without ceremony. In product. Tone steps closer, shoulders squared. We got the shipment. Most of it. We can return it. We settle the rest. The rep smiles without warmth. No, there's more. One of you pulled a trigger that killed someone important to us. I feel the shift. Crown glances at me. Brick stiffens. Tone doesn't breathe. Camila speaks, voice smooth as smoke. It was him, she says, eyes still locked on mine. He killed my brother. Every muscle in my body goes still. Her brother, the kid in the alley, the one with the red lace sneakers and terrified hands. I see it again, the flash, the body dropping, the sound of the world splitting open. I didn't know. I never knew who he was. Brick starts to step in front of me, but I move first. What now? I ask her. My voice doesn't even feel like it's mine. The rep gestures to a plastic wrap table. We take him. The debt ends. Tone steps between us, voice calm but lethal. He ain't going nowhere. He's blood. We handle our own. Camila's eyes narrow just enough to show she expected that. Brick's hand slips near his pistol. Crown stands up slowly, looking like a man resigned to hell. We are seconds from a massacre. Then Tone says something I never expected. Red line, did you kill her brother? No anger, just truth. A judgment heavier than a gun barrel. And I could lie. I could deny it, bury it, blame it on the chaos, say anyone could have fired that shot. But the face won't leave me. The way he froze, the way his body snapped back. Yes, I say. The warehouse goes dead silent. Even the air stops moving. Tone closes his eyes. Brick mutters a curse. Crown looks at the floor. The cartel rep exhales like a man satisfied. Good. Then it is simple. Camila steps closer until she's 3 feet away. She speaks quietly so only I hear. You didn't just kill him. You made me come back here. To this life. I was gone. I was trying to stay gone. Pain sits behind her stare, deeper than rage. I nod once. If you're here to take me, then take me. Tone growls. We ain't giving up one of ours. Camila answers without looking at him. He's not yours. Not anymore. And that's when the shots hit. Not from the cartel. Not from us. From outside. Automatic gunfire tearing through the walls. Concrete shatters. Metal screams. One of the cartel soldiers falls before he even knows he's dead. Brick yells, Crips, get to cover. The world explodes. Everything becomes muzzle flashes and moving shadows. Tone drags Camila down behind a forklift. Brick fires through a hole in the wall, roaring in anger. Crown takes a round through the shoulder and drops, gasping. I pull him behind a crate, pressing a hand over the wound. Blood paints my fingers warm and slick. We ain't dying here, Crown. Stay awake. His eyes flicker. We was already dead, Red. Bullets chew the crate apart. Dust rains down. I grab Crown's pistol and blind fire to keep heads down. Tone yells, there's too many. We fall back through the service tunnel. Brick covers us, firing controlled bursts. He's surgical when it counts. Crown can barely stand, but I sling his arm over my shoulder and we move. Camila covers our rear, switching magazines smooth as water. The cartel rep is dead, half his head gone. The Crips keep pushing blue rags around their faces, moving in formation. This ain't a street beef no more. This is an extermination order. We hit the tunnel door. Brick kicks it open. Sirens wail somewhere distant. We descend into darkness. The tunnel is narrow, dripping, lit only by emergency lamps that flicker like they're scared too. Crown fades in and out, mumbling prayers or memories or both. Tone leads, voice low. They knew the meeting spot. Someone else is feeding them. Camila says nothing. Maybe because she knows the truth. Maybe because she's the truth. Brick looks at me. If we make it out, we ain't ever having peace again. We never did. I answer. We hear boots behind us, echoing, getting closer. Tone stops at a junction. 2 paths. Left goes deeper underground. Right leads toward the river exit. We split, he says. By time. Brick nods. I'll take left, light him up. He clasps my shoulder once, heavy, final. If I don't walk out, you tell my son I didn't run. I grip his hand tight. You'll tell him yourself. We both know that's a lie. Brick charges left, screaming a war cry that shakes rust off the pipes. Tone pushes us right. Crown collapses 100 yards later. No more strength left in him. He looks at me, eyes glassy. You drive like the devil's scared of you. Don't stop now. His chest stops moving. I lay him down gently. Tone touches my shoulder, firm, respectful. Camila bows her head. We move. The river exit opens onto a concrete channel under moonlight. Police helicopters are sweeping the city, but not here yet. We climb out, soaked in fear and sweat. Tone turns to me and Camila. This ends tonight. Crips, cartel, moles, everybody. We're hitting the trap house on Rosecrans. Their command. We finish it. Camila hesitates. If we go there, we won't all come back. I answer for all of us. We haven't been coming back since this started. Toe nods once. We steal a parked truck. Hot wire it. Engine catches. I take the wheel. Blue lights flash in the distance. Helicopters pivot. Sirens converge. We speed in the night toward a final war. No more running. No more hiding. Just the last truth the streets ever give a man. You finish what you started, or someone else finishes you.